Alright everyone, hope you are doing well. Thanks for pressing play once again. I'm the man they call Pixel Paul, and welcome back to the channel, welcome back to the games room, and welcome to another gaming pickups video. So I've been back out once again, and again I've visited a sort of local seaside town, coastal town in the northwest of the UK. I've done videos like this before. Whenever we have a little bit of time off, or if I have a time off, I do tend to go to like some of the coastal towns because I'm just a bit of a seaside person. I do love the coast. I love the sea. I love the whole sort of thing about seaside towns. But when I'm usually at these places, I do like to go for a little bit of a game hunt as well, see what games I can find. And this time I've been to Morecambe. Now, I've done Morecambe a few times. I've done various videos from Morecambe. I think I've even done one video this year already from there when I visited Lee's Games. But yeah, I just love it there. I think it's great. This time I managed to visit two other indie shops that are in along the sort of seafront of Morecambe as well. So I've got a bit of footage from those. So let's get into it. Before we head to the coastal Morecambe town kind of footage, there was one pickup that I've made this week as well that's not from there. It was from Smith's Toys Superstore, and this is a game that I'm surprised I've not really picked it up before. I've got it on PlayStation 3 already and played it, obviously. But the PlayStation 4 remaster of this game, I've never picked it up, and it's in the PlayStation Hits collection. And you probably know that, you know, sort of periodically through the year, those games tend to get reduced from, they're usually about £15, $14.99. They get reduced to $7.99 usually like once every quarter or something like that. Most of them get reduced down to that price. So I don't know why I've never really thought to pick this one up, but I've seen a few other people picking it up, and it made me sort of think, well, it's been ages since I played the original version. So I thought, you know what, I'm a bit in between games at the moment as it is. At that price, let's go and pick up a copy of it brand new. And that game is God of War 3 remastered on the PlayStation 4. So yeah, I think it's $7.99. It's a fantastic game. I'm not sure how much the PlayStation 3 version of God of War 3 goes for at the moment. I know it's not mega expensive or anything like that. But yeah, I thought I'll give that a go. I'll pick that up. £8, brand new. Well, it was brand new until I dropped it. But yeah, it's a fantastic game, and I do prefer these kind of old school God of War games. I just prefer the kind of hack and slash, turn your brain off kind of epic scenery and epic scenes from it. I quite like the series as it was back then. So yeah, and I've started to play this again. This is going to be my sort of game for the next week or two probably. So yeah, looking forward to diving back into that one. And it does look great on the PlayStation 4. I must admit, it is so sort of big in scale and epic. So yeah, really enjoyed sort of playing through the opening of it again. So yeah, God of War 3 remastered on the PlayStation 4. So on to the games from the coastal town of Morecambe, and I've taken a little bit of footage of when we were out and about. And when I say we, I went with Mrs. Pixel. We both went for fish and chips and ice cream and a bit of a walk, and then for a bit of a game hunt as well. So let's take a look at us in Morecambe. So today we've come to Morecambe, back to Morecambe. If you've been watching my channel, you'll know that I come to Morecambe quite a few times a year, mainly to go to Lee's Games, which is behind me there. But there's a couple of other game shops here too, which I'm going to try and get to as well, have a quick look in. So first we're going to have something to eat, and then we'll go and see what we can find. Let people know you're here.
Told you, he won't listen.
Well, maybe he'll listen to me.
I know it's last minute, but I was thinking we could hire a singer, like a tribute act thing.
I seen this Sherburne on Insta. Mum loves a bit of Sherburne. She's North London based, but I reckon she'd come east and check out a few extra. You're thinking about it, aren't you? Who? Ivana. Don't tell me you two are hanging out. They're all right tonight, but she seems alright. You should get in there.
Mega Games, which is on the front of Morecambe, and then I've been in, I think it's Morham Games as well, which is in Morecambe Market, or the Festival Market. Had a look around there. Gonna go and get an ice cream and then have a quick trip into Lee's Games and go and see Andy. that's Lee's Games done as well. Picked up a few games as always. Mrs. Pixel is over here on the wall, so I'm going to go and say hello to her. We'll get back to the games room and I'll show you what I picked up. So that was Morecambe in the northwest of England, and it was a beautiful day, really nice day. We had a great few hours there. We didn't have too long because we had to get back to pick up Pixel Junior from school, so it was a bit of a fleeting visit in a way, but we had a nice walk, gorgeous fish and chips, nice ice cream, and I managed to visit the 3 indie shops that are in Morecambe as well. So you've got Mega Games, which was the first game shop that I went into. I've been in there before. It's very small, very compact. It's one of those shops actually where you could be walking past it and you'd blink and you'd miss it almost, because it's that small. But it's packed to the rafters, full of stock. I think pretty reasonably priced as well. The lady that runs the shop, she's always been in there when I've been there. She's dead nice, really pleasant. I actually had a little bit of a chat with her this time as well, which was good. And I picked up 2 games from Mega Games. So the first game I got, and I think a couple of these are what I would class as sort of like underrated gems or hidden gems. Maybe not hidden gems, but certainly underrated gems. The first one I got was Vanishing Point on the PlayStation. So this is a racing game, obviously. And yeah, I think this is a bit of a hidden gem, this one. It reviewed pretty well when it came out originally. Obviously, Gran Turismo's, Ridge Racers, V-Rallies. There were so many racing games on the PlayStation at this time. I think this is one of those that got overlooked a little bit. But from what I remember of it, and I have played it before, I think I may have only played a demo of it actually. I can't remember if I've had this before or not. I can't remember, but I know I've played it before, and I thought it was pretty good back in the day. So I'm quite looking forward to giving this one another go. It's a relatively cheap game to pick up these days. So I paid £4 for it. If you can see that there, £4 for it. It's all very nice and complete as well, immaculate condition. Ta-da! And even the box is in good condition too, not a crack on it, which is great. Yeah, £4 paid for it. I don't know how much it goes for at CEX at the moment because there's none in stock. The Dreamcast version, boxed and complete, I think is about £12, I think, something like that. So it can't be, it's not a massively expensive game. And I think on eBay it goes for about £5 to £6, something like that. So yeah, I think £4 is not a bad price for that. So happy with that one. And then the only other game I picked up from Mega Games. Now I do think this one is a bit of a hidden gem. I'm not convinced loads of people know about this game, but I could be wrong. Maybe you all know about this game and I'm just talking rubbish. But I remember playing this back in the day and really enjoying it, but maybe not appreciating it as much as possibly I should have, because it's quite a, I don't want to say it's not a cozy game, it's not twee or anything like that. It's a different kind of game. It's a Nintendo DS game, so it's all touch screen controls as well. But I think it's just got something about it, and I remember it reviewed really well in back then. Actually, it says on the front, Gold Award Nintendo 93%. So it was quite sort of highly rated, but I don't think many people maybe know about this game. What is it? Soul Bubbles on the Nintendo DS. So to explain this game, so it's tricky to explain this game. It's kind of a puzzle platformer in a way. There's elements of it that kind of remind me a little bit of Loco Roco to a degree. Basically what you do is you play as this little impy kind of fella here, sort of anyway, and you are essentially, again, it's really hard to explain. You kind of blow bubbles around maps, if you like, of a sort of 2D platform kind of looking screen. You blow the bubbles around the maps and pick up spirits as you go along, and you sort of use the bubble to move them and protect them as you go through the levels. From what I remember, some of the later levels are really, really tricky. It gets quite difficult was it this one that got quite difficult quite quickly? I can't remember. Like I said, I've not played it for a long time, other than having a quick go of it the other day. But yeah, I remember it just having something about it. Graphically, it's really nice. It just has that kind of look of, the sort of retro-y type games that we get these days on PlayStation Network and Game Pass and that sort of thing, where it has that kind of retro feel look to it. Not quite pixel art or anything like that, but it just looks old in a way, even then when it was first released. So it's a difficult one to explain, but I'd thoroughly recommend having a look for it. CEX sell this for £4 at the moment, and I picked it up for £4 as well. But again, immaculate condition, boxed and complete and everything. Yeah, I think it's a bit of a under the radar hidden gem, that one. Soul Bubbles, well worth a look if you can find it. Cheers everybody. Right, so after I'd been in Mega Games, I then went round the corner to the Festival Village, which is a bit like sort of like Morecambe's market hall kind of place. And they have a little game stall in that. Well, I'll say it's quite a big game stall actually, and split over two kind of units too, called Morham Games, I think it's called. And again, there's tons of stock in there, loads of good stuff. I didn't actually pick anything up from there this time. There was nothing that particularly took my fancy at that point, but there was some really good stuff in there. I think what caught my eye was the NES stuff as well. There's some great NES boxed games. I remember seeing Smash TV in there. But yeah, there was some really good stuff in there, but we were starting to run out of time, and I was conscious that I wanted to get to Lee's Games, so I didn't possibly spend quite as much time there as I would have liked. But yeah, it's another place well worth a look. And how good is it to have like those three sort of independent stores in Morecambe, all within kind of like 10 minutes walking distance of each other. Very lucky really. So yeah, Morecambe's Games, again, well worth a look. Go and have a look. If you do go though, make sure you sort of plan ahead, because the Festival Village itself is only open on certain days. So I think it's open on Tuesdays and Thursdays and one of the weekend days, I think. There's days where it is closed. So if you are planning to go there and you want to visit all three of these shops, make sure you sort of check when the Festival Village is actually open as well. Otherwise you might miss out on visiting Morecambe's Games, which would be a shame. Anyway, so moving on to the other pickups, and these were from Lee's Games. So I'm becoming a bit of a regular now at Lee's Games. Like I said before, I think this is the second time I've been this year already actually. I usually go maybe 2, maybe 3 times a year, just because I like to just go to that coast and that seaside. But yeah, I just love that shop as well. Andy, who owns the shop, Lee's Games, he's a top guy. Just really get on with Andy. He's great to chat to. He's always happy to chat to people as well. He's got so many stories about games and, you know, sort of buying games and the whole kind of indie game store industry as well. There's so many stories from back in the day. So yeah, just always love going in. It's always a pleasure to go in there. And I always come away with some goodies, and I have done this time. So the first 3 that I've picked up, these were kind of in a 3 for £5 type deal. They're all priced up individually, these games that I bought, but in total Andy charged me £45 for it, which I think was, you know, a few quid under what the individual sort of combined price was. So he did a little bit of a deal for me there, which is massively appreciated as ever. But these were in like a 3 for £5 kind of deal. So they're kind of cheap and cheerful in a way. And the first one is The Hobbit on PlayStation 2. I picked this one up because I'd sort of heard some people talking about this game, saying it's a bit of an underrated gem, bit of a hidden gem, this one. I've never played it, never had it. So I thought, while it was in that one, I will give it a go. Looks a bit like a sort of 3D platformer type game, I'm assuming. 3D platformer, action adventure. I don't think there's particularly RPG elements to it. It certainly looks like 3D platformy kind of game. So yeah, it looks interesting. Looks all right. It's got to be better than Gollum anyway, hasn't it? So yeah, quite happy with that one. The Hobbit on PlayStation 2. I also picked up this one, The Matrix, Path of Neo. Again, these were sort of cheapy ones. Never played this one. I've played Enter the Matrix, but never played the Path of Neo. So this is the Xbox version. So I just thought I'd pick that one up as well while it was sort of cheap. I've not been sort of same prices ever. So Hobbit, that's the £3 game in CEX at the moment. Path of Neo at the moment on the Xbox is a £5 game. So quite happy with that one. And then the last one in that 5 3 for £5 deal. This is a £2 game, so combining that lot is actually £10, so I've kind of got them half price in a way. The last one was Far Cry Instincts on the Xbox. Now, the eagle-eyed of you, or the people with good memories, or people who've just been watching my channel recently will think, didn't you buy that the other week? And yes, I did. I got it from the car boot sale. But when I took the instruction book out of the box, this is on not this copy, it's on the other copy, and I took the instruction booklet out, all I could see when I lifted it up was just mould on the back cover, sort of showing through the casing, and it just looked hanging. It just looked rank. It was horrible. And yeah, I think when I'd seen that, I just thought, I kind of looked at the back of the instruction booklet, and I was thinking that looked a bit damp as well. So I just chucked it. Because it was just horrible. So I was after another copy of this. I know it's a £2 game in CEX at the moment, but yeah, Far Cry Instincts, just to replace that copy that I'd bought the other week. I hadn't played that, or I didn't have a chance to give it a go or anything, so I've not played it before. We'll see what that one's like. Right, so moving on. Now this one, it's funnily enough, I nearly picked this one up from CEX using my voucher a couple of weeks ago, but held off. I think, what did I buy instead? Old Street Fighter. The Street Fighter Alpha Anthology, I bought that instead. So I'm kind of glad I did, actually, because I got this a little bit cheaper than CEX price. And that game is Assassin's Creed Bloodlines on the PSP. And I paid £9 for that. It's £10 in CEX at the moment, so very happy with that. Again, as you'd expect, immaculate condition, really good condition. UMD casing's top notch, really good. So yeah, happy with that one. And that means I'm now one game away from completing the entire series of Assassin's Creed, believe it or not. The only game I've not got is Assassin's Creed 2 Discovery. I think it's called Discovery on the Nintendo DS. I think that's the only Creed game I've not got now. So yeah, I've managed to build up quite a collection of the Assassin's Creed games. Not played a huge amount of them. That's a bit unfair. I've played a fair whack. I've probably played about 50% of the Assassin's Creed games. I'm still trying to crack on through them. Currently playing Mirage, and I'm not sure about that one. But anyway, Assassin's Creed Bloodline PSP looks alright, actually. Looks more of the same sort of Assassin's Creed stuff. So yeah, quite looking forward to giving that one a go. Because I, like a lot of other people at the moment, are on a bit of a PSP trip. So that's a nice little addition to the collection for the PSP, I think, that one. Right, so still with the pickups from Lee's Games. The last 1, 2, 3 games. This is a bit of a strange one as well, because it's just like one of those chance finds. You know, when you see a picture of a game that you'd never heard of before, you see someone post it on Instagram, and you sort of think, God, I've never seen that anywhere. I've never seen it in CEX, never seen it anywhere, never heard of it before. And then lo and behold, the next week or two, you see it. You know, you just happen to chance sort of find it. I saw someone post this on Instagram. I think it was Wild Bunny. He posted this on Instagram maybe a week and a half ago. And the front cover for it immediately sort of grabbed my attention, because it's a great front cover, looks amazing. Such a cool name for a game, this as well. But yeah, I thought, I'd never seen that, never heard of it before. But anyway, so the game is Steel Dragon EX on the PlayStation 2. And I paid £15 for that one, which is... it's, you know, I don't throw money at games like, you know, for £15 too often. But when I saw this, I thought, I'm going to give this one a go, because I do like shoot 'em ups. This is a bit of a top-down kind of bullet hell type shooter, which I've kind of been getting into recently. So yeah, I just thought it looked and sounded all right. There's like 2 versions of this on here as well. So there's like the 2D version and a sort of newer kind of 3D version of it. I would imagine probably the 2D version is probably a little bit better. But I don't know. I'll give both of them a go anyway. But yeah, I paid £15 for that. At the moment, CEX are selling this for £18. So it's, you know, it's under the CEX price as well. So I was quite happy to grab that one. Quite pleased with that one. And like I said, the front cover just looks really cool. Love that. And what a great name for a game, Steel Dragon. It just sounds cool, doesn't it? So yeah, quite happy with this one. I had a quick look at some of the reviews for it as well, and I think some places sort of say it's not the most difficult bullet hell shoot 'em up ever, which quite frankly suits me down to the ground. I'm quite happy with that. It's a little bit easier on me, then yeah, I'll take that. So yeah, looking forward to giving this one a go. Again, as always, immaculate condition, great looking disc that, and the manual there as well. So yeah, under the CEX price, happy to get that one. Yeah, looking forward to playing that one. Right, so this one, there's two more. So this one was a little bit of an impulse buy, as Andy was sort of getting the stack of games and putting them in the boxes. I just spotted a pile of sort of cheaper end Megadrive games, and for some reason it's almost becoming a bit of a tradition. I usually pick up a Megadrive game from Lee's Games when I'm there, and I hadn't done this time. I saw the pile of cheaper sort of Megadrive games, and I thought, well, maybe we could stretch to maybe one more. There was only a couple that sort of stood out, but this one did. This one stood out, and I've never had this game physically. Strangely enough, I've played it a few times on compilation discs and emulators and that sort of thing, but I've never actually owned a physical copy of this. So yeah, quite happy to pick this one up. The game is Echo the Dolphin on the Sega Mega Drive, and I paid £9 for that one. That's a little bit over the current CEX price. I think CEX is about £6, boxed and complete. But to be fair, this is in absolutely immaculate condition. Really nice condition, this one. The manual is in a little protective cover as well, and looks absolutely crispy new. I mean, yeah, it looks amazing condition, that one. So probably that on its own makes it worth that extra £3, I think, because that is absolutely immaculate, that. And the cartridge looks great too, and the box is in good condition as well. So yeah, happy to sort of just chance last second see that, and I'll be giving this a go, playing it the way it's supposed to be played. Yeah, Echo the Dolphin. It's sometimes I quite like Echo the Dolphin when I've played it before. Sometimes I've sort of thought, nah, it's not for me. But no, this time I shall give it a go. Another nice little addition to the Mega Drive collection, which, you know, I've bought a couple of Mega Drive games over the last, well, this year actually so far, and starting to build up a nice little shelf of games there. So yeah, really enjoying collecting these Mega Drive games at the moment. You can't beat the Mega Drive boxes. I just love the look of them. Just so cool, so retro. The look of it, just, yeah, great stuff. So yeah, Echo the Dolphin. Right, then on to the last game pickup. Now this is one that I've been after for quite a while. I'd seen this game on another YouTuber's channel, SNEStastic. If you are not subscribed to his channel, please do. He's an absolute top collector, top guy. Makes, you know, the most amazing sort of videos, very sort of simple setup, but just knows his stuff. And you know, he is the absolute sort of star of the show with that channel. He knows his stuff, he knows his games, and just, you know, gives the stories and background to games in just the most sort of fascinating way, if you like. That's the best way I can put it. So yeah, make sure you do. But I saw him do like a bit of a playthrough of this game going back a fair few months. I think it was last year. Again, it's a game that I'd never heard of before, and immediately I was like, right, how much is this? Where can I get it from? And I've been looking for this game for a while, and ideally I was looking for... It's probably going to be easier if I just show you what the game is first. Well, it's not that game. It's not Mary Kate and Ashley, but there's a reason why I've got this one as well, and I'll tell you about that one in a minute. But the actual game itself is Gekido Urban Fighters on the PlayStation. So yeah, I've been looking for a copy of this for a while, but I was trying to get a copy like SNEStastic actually did. He was after a copy with the full sort of front cover and not with the sort of best of types it's almost like a classics kind of cover. There's actually 2 different versions of this cover as well, but I was looking for the full sort of cover, but it's so expensive, and I've just not been able to find it anywhere, sort of physically or in person. So I knew Andy had a copy of this, and he had it earlier in the year, and I think he even had it late last year as well. So I sort of knew that there was a copy there at some point. So I was hoping when I went this time that he still had the copy, and he did. So yeah, I finally grabbed this one. I paid £12 for it. Again, CEX don't currently seem to have this on their app. It's not in stock, or they just don't sell it. But sort of eBay wise, it's a bit of a wild one, this one. So with the full kind of cover, you're talking about £50 to £60, I think. But you know, this sort of version of it is, if you're lucky, maybe about £10 to £12. But usually, I think the average for it is about 20 quid, something like that. So I think £12 is a pretty fair price for it as well. Again, all complete, manuals there, and the disc, very shiny. So yeah, all nice condition. That the only thing with it was the box is a bit, well, a lot cracked. You can just see it there. There's a massive crack in it. So that's why I ended up with Mary Kate and Ashley too, because Andy very kindly just gave me this one just to replace the cover, to replace the box, which I thought was really good of him. He said he has a pile of these cheap PlayStation games just under his counter, and if a box is really badly damaged, he'll just swap it out and let you take that one to replace it. So yeah, I didn't buy Mary Kate and Ashley's Crush Course. It was a freebie. He just gave it me for the case. This looks like an absolutely awful game. God. I might give it a go. Yeah, but the game is in there, so I could give it a go, but I don't think I will be doing. But yeah, anyway, back to Gekido. So Gekido is essentially a bit of a 3D scrolling beat 'em up type game. Again, if you check out SNEStastic's channel, he did a bit of a playthrough of this on there, so you know, it's worth having a look at it. If you want to know a bit more about this game, check out that video of his. If I can find a link to it, I'll put a link to it in my description for this one. But yeah, it just looked really, really good. Really kind of old school, in an old school kind of way, scrolling beat 'em up type game. Really impressive graphics, nice music to it as well. Yeah, I remember watching that video of his and just sort of, I was engrossed with it because I was just so amazed that I'd never heard of this game before. So I was really happy to pick this one up, and I cannot wait to actually give it a go myself now, and play through it. So yeah, Gekido Urban Fighters. And those were the pickups for this week. Another happy trip to Morecambe, to the seaside. Great fish and chips, great ice cream, nice little walk, great weather, great company, and some amazing games. I'm really happy, actually. It's not always about quantity, is it? I mean, there's a fair few there, but I think I've picked up some really nice little games there. Really cannot wait to play Gekido. I'm going to give Echo the Dolphin a proper little go as well. Looking forward to trying that one out as well. Steel Dragon. I think that's probably right up my street, that one. And yeah, some of the others as well. Soul Bubbles. I'm looking forward to playing that again properly. Again, I probably haven't explained that game very well, but if I haven't done already, I'll try and get some footage of it so it gives you an idea of what that game's all about. Yeah, because it's a weird one, but it is a bit of an underrated gem, I think, that one. Anyway, once again, I'm rambling. I always do. Thank you for watching. Thank you so much for watching. Really appreciate it. Let me know your thoughts on those games that I picked up. Have you played any of them? Is Soul Bubbles an underrated gem? Is that easy enough for me to play? Let me know in the comments if you've played Gekido. Yeah, just get all your comments into the comments box and I will always try to reply. So thank you for watching and I will see you next time.